What's up, Bavlackers? And welcome to a comic review. Today, the Invincible Iron Man Annual number 5 from 1982. Invincible Iron Man in Wakanda with the Black Panther up against Killmonger, Madam Slay, and question mark? Who's this mystery guy? Mystery guy at the very bottom gets revealed only on the final page. Classic flip bait is what I call it, which means it's something to get you to flip the pages, right? Open the comic book. Pretty upsetting. I had an intuition on who it was early on when they showed him one time, because they show him as a shadowy figure one other time earlier in the comic. And if you know anything about Iron Man, it's a pretty famous Iron Man villain who is in a lot of Iron Man. But this really felt like, if you've seen, which I'm sure you have, the Black Panther movie, right? Spoilers ahead now. I guess for the movie and for this book. But instead of it being, oh, Black Panther dies, it was a fake Black Panther that they set up to die so Killmonger would take over so they could see what his plans were. And his plans were obviously, I'm going to rule with power and authoritarianism, as that's who Killmonger is and, was and everything. And Madam Slay as well. Madam Slay creates a diversion, though, because she knows Tony's there as well, because James Rhodes came with him. James Rhodes, obviously War Machine, becomes Iron Man at some point. You know how it works. James Rhodes is then basically kind of seduced, right? He's like, oh, hey, lady, you know what I mean? And she freaking puts him out and straps him to this, like, little force field thing that Iron Man has to take out. That makes it so it's Black Panther versus Killmonger straight up, and it's Iron Man versus this, like, force field thing straight up at the end, which creates an awesome battle. And it is also a battle that they aren't really fighting against these two characters. Again, mystery figure set this all up. So, Black Panther Killmonger, the battle is amazing. Black Panther has, by this time, already been in the Avengers for a little bit, right? So he's not just the Wakandan superhero who's just in Africa defending his people. He is more Americanized, right? And Killmonger sees this as being a bad guy, right? There's statues that Black Panther has in Wakanda that are, Americanized and everything, and Killmonger's throwing them at him like, you've changed, you're a traitor, you are not Wakanda. And Black Panther's like, everything I am is Wakanda, everything I am is being of this place. Madam Slay and Killmonger make a story to the people before Black Panther comes back and reveals he's still alive. They make up a story, basically, to fake like Killmonger had a rebirth like Jesus, basically, even down to the point of having 3 days before he rose again from the dead. Like, literally bar for bar. That's crazy. I didn't expect that at all in the comic, but obviously they are upping what really happened to make it seem like, yeah, Killmonger's a good guy. Killmonger came over Black Panther, the fake Black Panther that died, right? And it's like, oh, I'm so sad about this, guys. And they're like, you know what? We like Killmonger now. So a lot of the forces joined Killmonger and are now trying to kill Black Panther. He fights them off, then has a one-on-one with Killmonger where he ends up killing Killmonger. Here's the thing. Killmonger had a ring on his finger. This gets noticed in the middle. This is my other telltale sign of, okay, I know who's behind this. Again, if you know anything about Iron Man, you already know who I'm talking about, and that's what gets to the final reveal. So as Killmonger is dying, like literally, like flesh leaving and, just becoming bones on the ground, the ring goes off his finger. And Iron Man is like, that's really weird, that ring. I got to get to the bottom of this. Well, guys, it is the Mandarin. Of course it's the Mandarin. Let's get to the page. Again, big spoiler here. I don't know. But, oh, this page is super cool. Look at this. They're showing both scenes, and it's talking about a hero. Let me read this. This is so cool. In each truly heroic struggle, there is a time of commitment. A time when human energies fail, yet more is required and more is given. Few are equal to that task. Often that effort ends in failure, for victory is not always for the brave. But where a man might falter, these ones do not while life and spirit endure. Not until the last measure is given. To transcend the man, become the hero. The man become the hero. Which is really interesting, right? Because in a way, Iron Man, to me, before I pick up this last thing, I interpret Iron Man is the man. First of all, right? You talk about the man, you're usually talking about a head of a corporation, a CEO, stuff like that. That is Iron Man. But Iron Man is also a dude who's a superhero, so he's kind of both. So it's funny how it's like transcend being just Tony Stark to be Iron Man. And in this comic a lot early on, Tony is referring to Iron Man, and Iron Man is referring to Tony as separate people. So this is still when Tony's, hitting on women, alcohol, doing all that Tony stuff that we know, right? Especially if you're an MCU fan from the early Iron Mans. So, but yeah, this is then Mandarin at the end. Kind of looks sick. Overall, pretty good. I don't mind the cliffhanger being Mandarin getting his ring back, which his ring is obviously his power. Iron Man knows how to, fight against the Mandarin. I don't know exactly how this one ends. I know the Mandarin storyline where he ends up fighting him with dragons and stuff. I might need to review that one if you guys are interested. But I would now want to rank this comic. This is a very good comic. The action between Black Panther and Killmonger, and Black Panther action in general, is so sick. Iron Man and using his technology and his mind is done super well. I think the plot is pretty streamlined. It's one that's very understandable. And even when they're going back and forth between Iron Man and Black Panther, it's done with balance and good effect. The writing is well done. The art is very good. And the characters are amusing. To me, and this goes for a lot of Iron Man comics, this is about an 8.8 out of 10. I'll give it an 8.8. Okay, I want to give it a 9. 9 to 10, though, is like phenomenal. I'm going to want to read this and read this and read this. I'll give it 8.8. This is one of the better Iron Man comics I've read. Probably the second best I've read. The best I read is probably one of my favorites in my collection. I'd give it a 9.5. And I will review that at some point. I'm going to reread it. That's how much I enjoy it. But this is an 8.8, no doubt. I will reread it eventually, but not in the near future. So 8.8 out of 10. This is worth it. Online, this goes for about 6 without shipping to 13 without shipping. So it could be like 9. Shout out to my local comic shop. They got it to me for $3. $3 for Iron Man and Black Panther and Wakanda. What a steal. Thank you guys for watching. And I will be back with more comic reviews throughout the week. And obviously later, Super Bowl prediction at the end of this week. So can't wait. We got big things coming. Love you guys. And I'll see you next time. Affleck time is out.